Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Rohr Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Lara Sturm.
Hi, welcome to the Powerlifting Power Ballads podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Lara Sturm.
And I'm Josh Rohr. Welcome to the episode. So, the day has arrived. USA Powerlifting was officially voted out of the IPF as of Sunday, November 7th. First thoughts, Lara?
Yeah, I guess I'm not surprised that they made it official, but it still sucks. It's just like, wait, we got tossed out because we did too much drug testing.
Yeah. Essentially, that's what it breaks down to.
Fucking sense.
I agree.
Really.
I agree. Yeah, and the crazy part too, looking at the numbers of the votes. So, just a few stats. It was in the press release from USA Powerlifting. There's over 150 IPF member nations, and in order to remove an affiliate, you need 2/3 vote. But you only need 2/3 vote of the present member nations at the special session that they called for this vote. So there were a total of 28 member nations, including USA Powerlifting, and 23 voted to remove us. So that was a 2/3 vote of the present member nations. But if you just look at it, 23 out of 150 member nations, it's just kind of, I don't know, it just feels all types of, I have all sorts of feelings about that. But
also once they're in some kind of meeting and they're presenting it as like, hey, this is what we did and this is why we did it. We want to get into the Olympics someday, don't you?
Yeah.
Of course they're going to be like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just like, but that's the part, like when you say it like that, yeah, it's like, okay, well, I guess I get what they're doing. But the other thing is, like, they are going above and beyond the WADA code, like, because the WADA code allows for essentially a 2-tiered type system, and you don't have to have the entire organization following the WADA code. So that's the part that just is frustrating to me, is like, other sports have done that, like USA track and field, USA hockey, like they have like USA basketball, or whatever, like NBA players, we've talked about this before, like NHL players, like they're not under the WADA umbrella. They don't follow the WADA code until they declare eligible for the Olympics in a short period of time. So there's precedent that we could have the same situation where we have USA Powerlifting local, and then once you win nationals and make a national team, now we declare you eligible, or declare you as part of the IPF, or under the WADA code at that point. And they basically just flat out said, no, we're not doing that. So it wasn't even so the WADA code essentially allows for that. None that I know, other than money. I mean, I'll just say that. I think it has something to do with, comes back to money. Like, people, if we pay the IPF to manage all of the drug tests, then they make more money. They can charge what they want. They dictate who we drug test, who we don't, things like that. It's just, I don't know. I think it all comes down to money and control is what I think it is. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So onward and upward, what's going to happen with USAPL?
Yeah. So, I mean, on this, at first, there's disappointment, because it's like, man, it's kind of end of an era. Like, I loved going to compete at IPF Worlds. I love going to coach at IPF Worlds. Like, I think so I'll say this, I'll preface this. I think currently, as of today, that is the most prestigious meet there is. However, there are some things on the horizon that USA Powerlifting is putting together that I think is gonna rival that. So we got a pro series. There's an announcement made. What is today? Today, well, the podcast is being released on Wednesday. So on Sunday, USA Powerlifting put out a press release just giving a few more details about the Pro Series because there really hasn't been much information about it yet. One of the, a few of the details that came out, basically you can earn a pro card, and to earn your pro card, you have to place top 5 in the Raw Open division or top 3 in the bench only or the equipped division in the Open. So basically those are being assigned retroactively from nationals last year. And in order to compete in the Pro Series, you have to have your pro card. So it kind of limits who can jump into the Pro Series and everything. And it forces people to, compete at that competitive meet of nationals to get their pro card. And that's also one of the required meets to get to the Arnold finals. So how that works in the series, there's multiple events. And, if you get best lifter, we'll use the Europa events. I think they're called like the UBU or something now. They changed it. It used to be the Europa games. But anyway, you use 2 events. One of them has to be nationals and one of them can be another pro event in the series. And you get points for how you place. So if let's say you get best lifter at the Europa meet, I think the top points that you get for being best lifter is like 50 points. If you get second best lifter, I believe it's something like 45, and it tiers down. Like top 5, there's a 5-point gap between like the, 5th place and 10th place. There's like a 3-point gap. So it's kind of like how the IPF team scoring does to a degree. Like if you win, you get a bigger jump. If you get, middle of the road, it's a smaller gap between your next place competitor. But anyway, that goes all the way down to 20th place. So all the way from 50 points all the way down to 1 for the top 20 placings. So if you get 10th best lifter, you get whatever it is, 20 points or 30. I don't know what it is. I don't have it in front of me. But then you take those points and you carry them with you. You can do as many meets as you want, pro meets to try and better that score, but you only get to count 1 plus how you do at nationals. And nationals is scored the same way. All the lifters at nationals are scored by IPF points. Well, they're good lift points now is what we're using. And who knows, that may change too now that we're not an IPF affiliate. That's something that's being discussed is changing the point system that we use. I don't know if that'll happen this year or next year or not, but it is being discussed. So anyway, you take those 20 points that you earned at that meet. Let's say you go do another Pro Series event and you get, 22 points. Well, then you drop that 20 and now 22 is the score you take with you into nationals. And let's say you get best lifter at nationals, that's 50. So 50 plus the 22 is your total points. And that's separated by, male equipped, male raw, women equipped, women raw, equipped bench only, male. I mean, so it's full power and bench only. They're a separate Pro Series. So somebody like Jennifer Thompson could theoretically compete in 4 different Pro Series if she wanted to, and go to different events to earn points for different categories. But how it works for the Arnold finals is only the top 5 get to go to the Arnold to compete for the big money. So whoever has the most points in the, women's equipped, for example, the top 5 point earners are the ones that get to go compete for the top money. So it's super competitive, super interesting that you have to do, essentially 2 meets to earn points. It's not just who does best at nationals. You have to do well at another Pro Series event to earn the points.
Well, how would other countries come into play?
Interesting. So we are okay. So this isn't necessarily official, but we are definitely discussing the idea of having international memberships where international lifters can come attend the Pro Series meets and compete at our nationals. That's not official. That is something that's being discussed. I think it would be an interesting twist. It'd almost be called internationals then instead of nationals or something like that. But it would be the same. It would be the same concept. They'd still have to earn the points to get to the Arnold Pro Series, and theoretically, there could be 0 Americans make it to the Arnold Pro Series if enough internationals came, if enough international lifters came. So, that's still being discussed. That hasn't necessarily been decided on or released if that's happening this year, but it is being discussed.
Right.
So I think
Well, just feel free to edit that part out if you feel like you let out too much.
I think it's public knowledge that it's being discussed. Everything's on the table at this point. Like, essentially, like, our handcuffs have been taken off, so it's kind of like we can kind of do what we want to do now.
It's kind of freeing in a way, right?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, if we could dream up a dream federation, like, what would it look like?
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of what the discussions are, is like, you know, in our wildest dreams, like, what do we want to do? Like, you know, it's almost like it's almost just like, I don't know how you describe it, just like the endless possibilities at this point. It's kind of almost it's exciting / overwhelming. Like, man, we really could do whatever we want now, you know, to structure this and make it the events to go to.
Right. Don't forget the Masters.
Don't forget the Masters. I agree. So that's the thing. I will say this to anybody that's listening, any of the teens, the juniors, the Masters, you know, anybody that's listening, that, you know, this announcement spoke specifically to the open lifters. So everybody's like, what about the Masters? What about us? What about us? Yeah, we understand. We're not neglecting you guys. We really are just like putting out pieces of the puzzle periodically.
Tantalizing.
So stay tuned. There is more information coming.
Well, I'm excited to hear the details.
Yeah.
Especially for the Masters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
So currently, I guess I don't know if we discussed it at all or not, but, you know, what has been released so far is that the top Masters lifters from nationals have been invited to compete at the Arnold and the Arnold Masters of Iron event. No other details have been mentioned about that. That's not because there are no other details. That's because things are being released and planned out accordingly to, I guess, keep people's interest. We don't want to just throw out everything all at once and then it just be like a dead period of nothing new coming out. So it's being accounted for. Don't worry.
Cool. I approve.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I'm hyped.
Sweet.
Which segues right us into the hype songs, unless you have more to talk about. Yeah, I feel like USA Powerlifting is in a great place. You know, at least you know when you can move on. You'd be like, thank God, Greyhound.
Yeah, you know? and you know,
she gone.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so hype songs. So we are on number 3 this week, and I'm going to start with my own hype song. My number 3 pick was Five Finger Death Punch, Under and Over It.
Yep, great song. I approve of that one. My number 3, DMX, X Gon Give It to You. Do you know it?
Of course I do. Yeah.
Do you? I'm not sure that you do.
I was just trying to not have any expression.
Oh, got it. The look on your face was like, I feel like I should act like I know.
Thanks.
Got it.
Thanks. Yeah. All right. Number 3 for Charlie Jackson is the Tomb Tones, My Girlfriend's a Zombie.
No idea.
I like the name of it though.
Yeah, I like the name of it too. I have no idea what that song is. And again, full disclosure, I haven't listened to any of these. Side note, Stacey Metcalf put together a playlist, I believe, of the number 5 and 4 songs. She would have done all of them, but I forgot to send her the list of everybody's songs ahead of time. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that she'll put together everybody's number 3 song so we can link it in the bio to play everybody's number 3. Which reminds me, I haven't linked the number 4 and 5 songs to the previous episodes, so I will do that as well. Long story short, I haven't really done anything. I just get on here and talk and don't actually do any work. So anyway, Jim Battenfield, his number 3, Ted Nugent, Stranglehold. Great song.
Great song. I don't know if it would hype me.
I was going to say it wouldn't hype me either. And I get hyped by weird songs that are not that hard, I guess. Sometimes.
And the rest of his list, I'm like, no, those are hype songs. But
yeah.
But
interesting opinion. Yeah, interesting choice. You know what?
Interesting
It may do well in the tournament though, because it's a very recognizable song. That's
Sure.
something we talked about before. Like some of the one-hit wonders list, even with only 2 or 3 songs, did well because they were the recognizable songs that people knew. Versus
Or because they're, they knew a lot of 12-year-olds that happen to have Instagram.
Man, you gotta let that go.
I will not let it go. All right. Next is Cindi Jaeger. She has The Score, Run Like a Rebel.
So I have never heard that song until I started coaching her, because every time she does a heavy set, she plays that song. And now that song is in my head a lot, actually. And it's one of those songs, I'm going to offend her on this. I liked it at the beginning, but I hear it so often now, and it gets stuck in my head because it's kind of catchy, that it's like, you ever have one of those really good songs that, like a new release on the radio, when they just play it so often that it just loses its, you just like, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
It's almost to that point for me. Like, I know she's going to be Cindy's going to be super pissed at me right now. It's a good song. It gets stuck in my head, and I literally days on end, it's playing in my head, and it's too much.
Poor Josh.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is Chris Peterson's Alanis Morissette, Uninvited. Alanis Morissette is being hype.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know this song, but
she is angry most of the time.
Yeah. So
yes,
I have to. I'm curious. I'm curious on this one.
All right.
I don't know it, but I am very curious. Wade Johnson, his number 3, Metallica, Sad But True.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, that's
Can't go wrong.
That's a definite 2 thumbs up for me. Yeah.
I mean, Wade Johnson's list could be mine.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. If this was a top 6 list, that would be on my list. And you know what's funny? I actually had that song. I actually had it as my number 1 when I first put together the list. And the only reason I took it off is because I felt like a lot more people were going to have it on their list. And I'm like, I kind of got to distinguish myself.
You don't want to be mainstream.
Yeah, I don't want to be mainstream.
Basic bitch.
Hope calls me that too.
Hope calls you a basic bitch. Oh, I love it.
Oh man.
Well,
but I don't really know what it means, so I just like take it. Chris Elmore. His number 3 is Avenged Sevenfold. Goddamn.
Great song.
I don't know that one either. I'm sure I know it, but I just can't think of it.
You do. Mike Hafenbrack, Deftones, Change in the House of Flies. Love this song. Don't know if it would hype me.
That's a great song. I don't know it either. I'm terrible. I'm the worst music host.
It's dark. It's a dark song.
We're out of the 80s. I'm out of my element here. Hannah Keith, Kylie Cyrus, Mother's Daughter.
Don't know it.
First of all,
Kylie Cyrus.
I know there's a Miley
Cyrus.
I'm assuming they rhyme. They got to be.
Right.
Are they? Wait, the song is Mother's Daughter.
I have so many questions.
So is Kylie Cyrus Miley Cyrus's daughter? And this song is about
Miley Cyrus has a daughter. She'd be like 3.
I don't know anything about Miley Cyrus. Is she like young?
Or maybe she's not young anymore and I just froze her in time. She could be. I don't know. I don't think she's old enough to have kids that would sing though.
I don't know. Anyway.
All right.
Let's get out of this
White
one.
Had Another One Bites the Dust. I'm going to assume that's from Queen.
Yep.
Great song. I don't know if it would hype me.
It would hype me. It's on my meat playlist for me, but it's not like. So again, my list is basically I put songs on there that's like when I'm really just not having a great day, like something that's just like overrides my, patheticness or whatever you want to call it.
You get emo.
Yeah, something like that. Jeremy Hartman, Fort Minor, Remember the Name. I've had a couple people list that one already in there.
Great song, but kind of basic bitch.
What is with you? And everybody uses that term now, and I'm just like, I don't get it.
Well, we'll talk later.
Okay.
All right. Eric Corderio, Black Frog, Nervous Breakdown.
Black Flag.
Oh, you had your cursor in the wrong place. I read frog. Never mind. Black Flag, Nervous Breakdown.
Ben Green, Avenged Sevenfold, Hail to the King. Yes.
Great song.
Great song. Yeah, nothing else to say there. Great song.
Stephen Fortenberry, another one. Fort Minor, remember the name.
Yep.
Apparently, this is a hype song for a lot of people.
Stacy Metcalf, 50 Cent, If I Can't. I don't know this. I have to know this song, but I can't think of it. But I like 50 Cent. So yeah. I'm probably going to give that one a thumbs up.
Probably. All right. Next one's Amy Pancake, Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart. I love Motley Crue. I love that song. Don't know if it would kickstart my lifting.
It's a good one. Thank you for explaining it and pointing it out. So I acknowledged it. I like the song. It's also on my meat playlist. It's, I like it a lot. It hypes me up. Hypes up Gino. He plays it all the time. That should be the scale. It should be a scale of like
the Gino scale.
Yeah, like, so how hype is it? Is it what's something that's not hype?
Josh Moore's face. There'd be Josh Moore on one side and then Gino on the other. All right, you're pretty hype. You're
okay.
So hype.
Well, at least you got what I was going there. So you're on a scale of my face apparently to Gino on the hype scale. Thanks.
Sorry.
Megan Powell, Paramore, Misery Business. Don't know it.
I know the group. I don't know the song. Great group. All right. Marshall Powell had Texas in July, Hook, Line, and Sinner. Don't know the song, but that's a creative name for a song.
Jenna Weinstein, Blink 182, Anthem Part 2. I'm not sure about that one either.
Don't know. Gretchen Patsios had Queen, Don't Stop Me Now. That would be a good hype song.
That is a good one. We got two Queen songs at number 3 this week so far. Katie Dodge, Flow Rida, Good Feeling.
I don't know that one.
I don't know it either. Oh, that was our last one.
That was it.
Yeah.
Oh, so here's the powerlifting situation. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
USA Powerlifting just got voted out as the U.S. affiliate to the IPF. Describe your feelings.
I'm feeling all the emotions on this one. Honestly, like I really do feel disappointed that it came to this, that basically the drug testing wasn't that, is being WADA compliant was more important than being drug free is really how I interpret that. And that was disappointment. But equally as strong of a feeling is like super excited. Like really, I really am. So I have some of the inside information because I'm on the executive committee. So like I do know some of the things that are in the works and I'm super excited about it. I just can't really discuss everything yet. But bits and pieces will be coming out soon. But I'm super excited. I think it's going to be, I think we're going to look back and say it was the best thing to get away from the IPF. And I never thought in a million years I'd say that, but I never thought in a million years the IPF would not stand firmly on the side of drug-free lifting. So,
yeah. Disappointing, but freeing.
Yeah. And exciting. Like, I mean, I really can't emphasize that exciting part too. Like, yeah, the disappointment is definitely there, but like literally there's some cool shit about to happen. So, Yeah.
Cool shit about to happen.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
We need to make t-shirts.
Cool shit about to happen.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. New lifter tip. So this one is all about foot movement. So if you're squatting your deadlift, the foot can rock back and forth or side to side, but must remain in the original footprint that you started in. And for the bench, your foot must remain completely flat, but the foot can slide, but no part of the foot can come off the ground. So while the foot movement I just talked about should never be the goal, knowing what is and what's not allowed is the goal. Agree or disagree?
Yep. I just think, again, you never want to be moving your feet when you're lifting. I think that's pretty common sense, but knowing what you can and can't get away with, in the bench, a lot of people, their foot will slide a little bit and they'll quit pushing because they think they missed the lift because their foot moved. Your foot can slide, it just can't come up. And it's essentially opposite. Squat and deadlift are pretty much exactly opposite from the bench rule. Like the foot in the squat and deadlift, it can rock on its side or heel to toe as long as you're in the original shadow of the footprint, same footprint. So yeah, I just think it's important to know that, because I actually saw, I was at a meet this past weekend and I actually saw, so we were calling this a new lifter tip, but it's, I think, tip for everybody. I actually saw a lifter get a red light for their foot sliding in the bench. It was 2-1 good lift, but even a referee thought that it was an infraction, and it's not. So, it's just important to be up on the rule book and know the distinguishing differences, between the two different rules, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of nuances of the rules, right? So it's one of those that could confuse people for sure.
Yeah, true. Cool.
True. And I've got to say, what is on your shirt?
I'm wearing a USA Powerlifting Georgia Winter Classic t-shirt. This apparently is it's basically I don't know what it is. It's supposed to be like the abdominal snowman kind of monster. I don't know.
The abdominal snowman.
I don't know. Whatever.
Well, he's swole.
He's swole. He is swole. Yep.
He's swole.
Yep. So
there you go.
Anyway, cool. That's it for us this week. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at PL Ballads Podcast. Shoot us a direct message. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, shoot us an email, plballadspodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us, though, because the voting is going to start in a couple of weeks. And if you're not following us, you're not going to be able to vote. If you're not going to be able to vote,
then you can't vote for me.
You can't vote for. Yeah, exactly. So cool. All right. On that note, we're out. Have a good week. Later.
All right. Stay strong.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.